Hello everyone, this is Gary and today we're looking at 8 tips for new managers. Now I know how it is, you've worked really hard for that promotion and finally you've been successful. That's great, well done. Or you've applied for that job, it's a new job, a post as a manager and you've won it. You've done well, that's great. Then, well, the reality dawns, you've got to start that new job. You're a manager, a new manager, and you've got a team you've got to manage. What do you do now? Well, the first thing is, don't panic. Don't worry, we will cover the basics in this video. And it's worth just pausing to stress, we are only going to cover the basics for a new manager. And these are 8 tips for new managers to get you started. And it is a start. You may find after we've been through the relevant topics, you decide you've got to have some more training in 1 or 2 areas. And that's fine. That's what this video is all about. It's to cover a number of the basics and get you ready for that new job. Essentially, there are 3 areas we need to cover. The first one is all about preparation. You've got to prepare for the job before you start it. And when you're in it, you've got to prepare for the various stages and the various things that will meet you in your new post and with the new tasks that will be set before you. The second thing is you've got to take a step back from time to time and accept the reality of where you are. You are where you are. You've got to be realistic about the things that you can do, about the resources you have available, and the expectations that you can meet and that you have to manage. You have to manage expectations often in both directions, both above you and below, and of course your own expectations as to what can be achieved. And the third thing is, well, this is the time to plan. You've got to start to plan. You've got to plan things. You've got to get ready, and how do you do that? At the risk of repeating it yet again, you've actually got to sit down and plan it out before you start. And that third element, time, well, there's a second strand to that, and that is it's time now to lead. You are a manager after all, and part of that post is all about being a leader. Now, there are a whole range of skills, soft skills, in relation to leadership, which I'll probably cover in another video. But this one is all about the hard skills of leadership. So there we go, it's the need to prepare, to accept and be realistic about where you are. And then it's time to plan and time to lead. And those are broadly the areas we're going to be covering in this short video. Now that I've done the introduction, I'm sure that a number of you out there are going to be saying, well look, that's great, please stop procrastinating and just get on with it. Well, that's fine, that's exactly what we'll do without further ado and with bated breath. As they say in all good videos, let's get into it. So let's get into it. We're looking at 8 tips for new managers. In other words, what to do in that new job. My advice, of course, would always read the small print. So, the first 2 tips are to prepare. You need to read up on the scope of the job, the goals, the timescales, issues of accountability, what you are accountable for, decision making and existing plans. And you need to find out about your team, their plans, the strong and weak points, and actively listen to them. So read back to them what they tell you, make notes. After all, it is your team now. So tips 3 and 4, well, you are where you are. You need to be realistic about what you can achieve with the tools and the team that you have. And you need to manage expectations. That's your expectations, the team's, and those of your boss. Manage expectations in all 3 directions. Then tips 5 and 6. Now is the time to plan. Put into play those planning skills of yours. You need to prepare plans, either from scratch or put your own stamp on any existing ones. And goals, what are they? Strategy, how are you going to do things? Finances, how much will it cost? And ultimately smart actions, by whom and when. In other words, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timed actions. That's the essence of a good plan. And then finally we look at the last two tips, 7 and 8. Now is the time to lead. After all, that's what being a manager is all about. You need to implement your plans and you need to deal with the issues and shortfalls as they arise. And, well, to be a good manager, it's as easy as that. Okay, so that was 8 tips for new managers. I hope it's got you started. It's given you an outline of the basics of being a new manager, and it's identified perhaps some areas where you may want to take further help, go on some courses, get some further training, but at least you've got an outline of what is involved. And just to recap what is involved, well, you've got to prepare. We talked about the need to prepare, to read up on the scope of the job, its goals, its timescales, your accountability. Second thing was to accept that you are where you are. In other words, to be realistic about the situation in which you find yourself, the resources you have available, the team that's available to help you, and what you can achieve in the timescales that you have been set. The third thing was all about time. Time to plan. In other words, this is the time in which to plan. This is the time in which to start to practice those planning skills. And that's a really important part of being a manager, because when you've done those plans, you've then got to do the final thing, time to lead. In other words, now you're a manager, you've got to start to show leadership. You've got to show the team clear directions about where to go, how to do things, how to make the best of what you have so as you achieve those goals and objectives for which you have planned. And to be honest, being a new manager is as easy as that. Now, if you like this video, please mark it as a like. And if you want more videos like this, well, please subscribe. And all that is left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.